Chosen one, hear this with your spirit. God has prepared a new home for you. But understand this, beloved, it is not merely a physical structure or an address, it is far greater. This is a place of divine positioning, a sacred alignment where every detail has been orchestrated by the Creator to reflect your purpose, your calling, and your destiny. The atmosphere awaiting you is one of peace, completeness, clarity, and sacred preparation. It is a space where confusion dissolves, longing is replaced by fulfillment, and every corner resonates with the presence of God. You did not stumble into this season by accident. Every delay, every detour, every disruption in your past was purposeful, leading you to this threshold. The home that has been prepared for you is intentional, not incidental, and it is equipped with divine favor, spiritual resonance, and completeness that aligns with your spirit. As you step into this reality, you will sense an unmistakable harmony between your inner life and the external environment. Peace will greet you at the doorway, rest will accompany you through the hallways, and a sense of divine alignment will settle over every room, every space, and every moment. This is your appointed place, prepared before you even knew you needed it. The fullness of God's intention is woven into every part of it, ensuring that your arrival is met with a completeness that has no gaps. The comfort, clarity, and sacredness of this home are more than mere provisions. They are the reflection of God's intimate care for your journey. You are being invited to step fully into what has been waiting for you all along, to recognize that nothing in your past was wasted, and to understand that every challenge you endured was a preparation for the peace, clarity, and divine alignment you now have permission to occupy. Before you continue, chosen one, understand that this moment is more than information. It is activation. As you read, speak, or type in response to this message, you are participating in a spiritual declaration that sets momentum in motion. Leave a comment with your most heartfelt wishes and write Amen 777 to seal your faith. This is not simply a ritual, it is a spiritual agreement with God's intention for your life. Every word you speak aloud, every declaration you write, carries energy into the spiritual realm, creating a chain reaction that positions you for divine fulfillment. Engage fully. Like, subscribe, or affirm in your own way, because participation strengthens your alignment with what has been prepared. When you activate your faith through acknowledgement, you invite heaven to move on your behalf. This is the moment where your voice meets divine orchestration, where your declaration propels your destiny forward. Speaking boldly, typing intentionally, and believing confidently all contribute to the energy surrounding your arrival. The universe, in response, begins to align circumstances, opportunities, and encounters in a way that resonates with the frequency of your new home. This is a sacred invitation to participate in the shift that has been awaiting you, a call to recognize that engagement is not passive, it is prophetic. Your response here sets the tone for your entrance into the atmosphere of peace, clarity, and divine alignment that God has been preparing for you. The journey that brought you to this point may have been fraught with challenges, weariness, and uncertainty. Perhaps you felt unsteady, as if you were suspended between places, unsure of what was ahead, or overwhelmed by change. But hear this, the discomfort you felt was never weakness. It was a season of divine transition. You were between promises, between chapters, and between the familiar and the new. What seemed like loss, delay, or detour was actually divine rearrangement, a careful repositioning of your life to match the reality of your next season. Every moment of tension, every challenge you faced was fine-tuning your spirit for the alignment you are about to receive. Struggle was never the enemy, it was the instrument of preparation. You were being stretched, refined, and tuned, not broken. The old familiarity had to fall away to make room for what was divinely ordained. You were not left behind, you were being lifted. This transition was intentional, designed to cultivate endurance, patience, and spiritual clarity. Now, having passed through this refining season, you are ready to enter a space that mirrors the maturity of your spirit. A home where peace, rest, and divine alignment are not temporary but permanent. You are stepping into a new chapter fully equipped to receive the fullness of God's intention. The home God has prepared for you is more than a structure. It is an atmosphere for your soul. Here, permanent peace resides, and temporary blessings are no longer enough to satisfy the fullness of your spirit. Anxiety, fear, and past worries will find no entrance. Instead, security, clarity, and rest will greet you at every turn. This is a space where overflow is natural, where your spirit is nourished, and where divine protection surrounds every corner. As you step inside, your soul will immediately recognize the harmony of this environment. Peace is not visiting, it is resident. Rest is not borrowed, it is inherent. This atmosphere is divinely sealed, and every element within it is aligned to sustain your calling, amplify your joy, and support your purpose. You will feel an unmistakable shift. Old burdens will fall away, tension will dissolve, and clarity will settle in. Every hallway, every room, and every window reflects the sacred care God has placed into this home. The spiritual frequency here matches your readiness, making it impossible for fear or anxiety to persist. This is not temporary relief. This is permanent establishment, a divine atmosphere where your spirit can fully inhabit its intended place. The discomfort you once felt in previous environments was never a sign of failure. It was evidence that you were outgrowing what once contained you. Release is not loss, and pressure is not punishment. Both are prophecy in action. You have been standing at the threshold of visions and dreams that once seemed distant, and now they are tangible. Every step you took in faith, even when the path was unclear, has brought you to this moment of arrival. The walls you once called home could no longer hold your potential, and the universe itself began to shift to accommodate your expansion. Growth naturally produces tension, but this tension is preparation, not punishment. You are being released from the constraints of old limitations, stepping into a space that mirrors your evolved identity and entering a home where divine alignment, peace, and clarity are inherent. You are no longer limited by what was. You are fully stepping into what God has ordained. The pressure you experienced was prophecy unfolding, designed to equip you with endurance, faith, and readiness. Now, you stand ready to embrace the new season, knowing that every challenge you endured was shaping you to inhabit the space you were always meant to occupy. The home God has prepared for you is not merely shelter, it is strategy. Every detail has been intentionally designed to serve your purpose and amplify your calling. Comfort and rest exist alongside divine opportunity, forming a foundation that allows you to thrive spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Delays you once questioned were never signs of abandonment. They were alignment in disguise, carefully orchestrated pauses that ensured every aspect of this home matched the fullness of God's plan for your life. Every corner, every window, every threshold carries intention, and every space is a reflection of the Creator's intimate knowledge of your heart. The prayers you thought unanswered are already exceeded in ways you could not have imagined. What you once sought has been transformed into reward, intentionally built to align with your destiny. God's fingerprints are on every aspect of this environment, and it is waiting for you to enter with awareness. This home is not simply for living, it is for thriving, for executing strategy, for walking into divine assignments with confidence. The comfort you feel here is inseparable from the calling embedded within the walls. As you inhabit this space, you will notice that alignment naturally leads to opportunity, clarity sharpens vision, and rest restores power. This home was never random. It is a calculated extension of God's provision, designed not only to meet your needs, but to expand your influence. You are now entering a space where divine reward meets preparation, where your faith steps transform into observable fulfillment, and where the fullness of your purpose is no longer delayed, but activated. Welcome home. There is no more wandering, no more lingering in temporary spaces, and no need to explain the journey to anyone who has not walked it with you. Your inner transformation is visible to those who can see spiritually. The peace on your face, the joy in your movement, the glow in your eyes, the sense of completeness that radiates from your spirit. You have been refined by fire and pressure, and now the resilience you demonstrated through every trial is honored with a reality that confirms your faithfulness. Every prayer, every act of endurance, every silent cry has led to this tangible confirmation. God's promise has materialized in a way that cannot be mistaken. Your arrival here is not about coincidence. It is divine orchestration. The place you now inhabit mirrors the evolution of your spirit. There is no need to over-explain, no need to seek validation from those who never understood the process. The reality you are stepping into carries its own evidence. Here, God's timing is unmistakable, and the blessings you now receive are an affirmation of divine intentionality. The home you enter today is both the proof and the reward for the journey you have endured. It is a sacred reality that confirms every step, every prayer, and every ounce of faith you invested. You have arrived in alignment, and the very atmosphere declares that your endurance was not in vain. In this new season, peace is no longer a visitor. It has taken permanent residence. You are no longer breathing cautiously, waiting for disruption to interrupt your rhythm. Instead, you breathe deeply, confidently, with assurance that God has prepared a space where favor, provision, and support flow effortlessly. The alignment of this home meets acceleration, meaning that opportunities and breakthroughs arrive in harmony with your readiness to receive them. You are no longer chasing relief. Relief now chases you. Divine timing is evidenced in every wall, every window, and every floor, all of which reflect a rhythm established by God to maintain stability, peace, and continuity. The sanctuary you now inhabit is both literal and spiritual, carrying the weight of eternity in the atmosphere that surrounds you. Here, there is no room for fear or anxiety. You can exhale fully because what God has prepared is permanent. Your life will no longer be a series of temporary solutions. It will be a continuous flow of purpose-driven peace. Every element of this environment supports the spiritual and emotional growth you were designed to experience. And every moment spent here affirms that divine preparation cannot be rushed or undermined. This is the season where rest becomes your default state, where joy is your natural expression, and where divine alignment ensures that your steps match God's unfolding plan. This home is more than a dwelling. It is a container for legacy, a sanctuary where healing, hope, and harmony are embedded into every corner. What once sought to penetrate your peace, past battles, regrets, disappointments, cannot enter here. The space you now inhabit has been consecrated by God for expansion, creativity, and restoration. Safety is the soil in which your dreams will grow, the environment in which your spirit will flourish. Within these walls, you are free to create without fear, to rest without guilt, and to dream without limitation. Healing is tangible. It permeates the air and transforms the energy you carry. The legacy you build here will be a testimony not only to your endurance, but also to the divine orchestration that brought you to this moment. This home protects you, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally, ensuring that your creative capacity, your vision, and your influence have room to expand unhindered. It is a space where divine protection intersects with opportunity and where hope becomes a daily, observable reality. Your legacy begins here, rooted in peace, nourished by alignment, and ready to influence everything beyond these walls. The silence in this home is not empty. It is sacred. It is filled with divine presence, with reassurance, with the weight of eternity quietly affirming your arrival. The ceilings have been lifted. There are no more confinements, no invisible limits, no boxes to contain your potential. Familiarity with this sacred space is not in the physical structures, but in the spiritual recognition that you are exactly where you were meant to be. The atmosphere itself desired you as much as you desired it, pulling your spirit into alignment with the peace that surrounds you. In this sacred silence, your soul can hear clearly, your mind can think deeply, and your heart can align fully with God's plan. Limitations imposed by the past are removed. Boundaries are elevated in the sense of protection, not restriction. The space you now occupy is more than a home. It is a temple, a sanctuary, a vantage point from which divine favor flows freely. Here, every decision is informed by clarity, every step is guided by purpose, and every breath is a confirmation of alignment. The sacredness of this environment elevates you, lifts you, and releases you into the fullness of the life God prepared, ensuring that nothing external can compromise the peace, purpose, or potential embedded within this space. Your new home is not merely a dwelling, it is consecrated for your calling. Every wall, every corner, every room has been infused with divine purpose to foster creativity, clarity, and spiritual alignment. In this space, your mornings are clearer, your thoughts sharper, and your inspiration amplified. Rest is no longer a fleeting commodity. It is deep, restorative, and sufficient to sustain every calling placed within you. The creative impulses that once seemed dormant now stir effortlessly because your environment supports them. You will find yourself thriving instead of merely surviving. Every object, every sound, and every ray of light has been positioned to reflect God's intimate knowledge of you. In this consecrated home, your mind is free to dream without obstruction. Your heart is free to expand without hesitation, and your spirit is free to walk boldly into assignments that once felt out of reach. This is a sacred laboratory where God's creativity and your potential converge. What once required struggle is now met with ease. What once demanded force is now drawn into alignment. Your home becomes an extension of your calling, a space that amplifies the divine ideas already within you, and a sanctuary where inspiration, clarity, and divine encounters flow naturally. This is more than a house. It is a sanctuary, a spiritual command center designed to hold and amplify your life's purpose. Clutter, chaos, and distractions have no place here. Peace is structured, protected, and intentional, providing an environment where emotional release, spiritual reflection, and gentle healing are not only possible, but natural. Daily rhythms of life, whether rising, working, resting, or creating, are infused with sacred energy, allowing joy to permeate every action. In this home, the mundane is elevated to the spiritual. Every routine becomes a rhythm of blessing. You are no longer navigating a space that drains your spirit. Instead, every room, every corner, every window exists to reinforce your alignment with God's purpose. This sanctuary holds the weight of your destiny, lightly yet powerfully, supporting you as you step into assignments that once felt distant. The environment itself reminds you of your worth, your calling, and the sacredness of your journey. You are anchored not by walls, but by purpose, and in this anchoring, you find freedom, clarity, and a profound peace that extends far beyond the physical structures. Your home is a portal, a prophetic space where heaven and earth intersect. The atmosphere is charged with clarity, creativity, and divine downloads. Here, ideas flow effortlessly, dreams become tangible, and spiritual revelation aligns with earthly action. The sacred energy of this space amplifies your sensitivity to God's voice, heightening discernment and opening channels for insight that were previously blocked. Dreams are vivid, intuition is sharpened, and divine direction becomes immediate and unmistakable. This is not mere symbolism. Your home functions as a literal gateway for spiritual flow. The environment reinforces your connection to the unseen, allowing you to operate with supernatural awareness in your daily life. The energy that resides here supports manifestation, accelerates alignment, and positions you to receive and release God's purposes with authority. Every corner, every space, every quiet moment becomes an amplifier for divine clarity, turning ordinary life into a continual encounter with God's wisdom, creativity, and provision. Your home is more than your personal sanctuary. It is a magnet for aligned relationships and a conduit for influence. Those who enter this space are touched by the peace, clarity, and divine alignment it carries. Friends, family, and even strangers experience restoration, laughter, and encouragement simply by entering your atmosphere. Your home becomes a container for shared blessing, a space where ideas are born, prayers are lifted, and healing radiates outward. The right connections, divine opportunities, and prophetic encounters are drawn naturally into your orbit without effort because your environment resonates with God's frequency. Here, your influence expands effortlessly, and the ripple effect of your peace and presence begins to impact others, creating cycles of blessing that extend far beyond your walls. What you release from this home, spiritually, emotionally, and creatively, touches lives in ways that are both visible and unseen. This is the amplification of God's design, a personal sanctuary that naturally extends into community impact. You now move from security, not fear, because your foundation has been divinely anchored. Internal and external alignment is no longer aspirational. It is observable in every facet of your life. Your home is not merely a prize, it is a platform, a launch pad for assignment and authority. Miracles no longer feel extraordinary. They are natural outcomes of living in alignment with God's timing, presence, and provision. Peace, now resident within your atmosphere, functions as evidence of authority, signaling to the spiritual realm and to the natural world that you are positioned according to divine will. Every step you take, every decision you make, and every word you release is empowered by this alignment. Your home supports and reinforces this authority, acting as both shield and platform for the expansion of your influence. This is the season where stability meets strategy, where internal peace manifests as external power, and where your environment reflects the authority bestowed upon you by God. With arrival comes discernment. The heightened awareness you now experience acts as a spiritual filter, guiding your decisions, interactions, and boundaries. Peace itself serves as a protective agent, shielding your home, mind, and spirit from interference, distraction, and spiritual deception. You now operate with elevated standards, not from pride, but from awareness of the value of what has been prepared for you. Your home, your environment, and your inner world are guarded, reflecting the maturity of your spirit and the sacredness of your calling. This discernment ensures that only what aligns with your purpose, your peace, and your legacy will be received. Spiritual security is emphasized, demonstrating that protection is not passive, but active, and it is integrally woven into the atmosphere that surrounds you. Here, you are anchored, alert, and aligned, fully equipped to steward the blessings and responsibilities of your new season. The wandering is over. You are rooted, established, and home. Physical, emotional, and spiritual healing converge in this sacred space, confirming that every trial, every pause, every step of faith was intentional and purposeful. Your sanctuary is guarded, shielded, and protected. Peace is no longer abstract. It is tangible evidence of divine preparation. You are home. You are aligned. You are positioned by peace. The fullness of God's intention has been realized in your life, and your presence in this space confirms it. Every breath, every thought, every step is now supported by a reality that was ordained before you ever began this journey. Nothing external can undermine what has been divinely secured. You are not visiting, you are residing. You are not temporarily aligned, you are permanently positioned. Your new home, your sacred space, your environment of peace is a testimony that God prepares with precision, orchestrates with purpose, and fulfills with perfection. You have arrived.